Welcome to Shooting It Straight with Stan. I'm your host, Stan the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent, licensed in all 50 states and Puerto Rico, founder of CGO, which is contractual guarantees only. We only look at the contractual guarantees of the policy, what it will do, not what it might do. Got a really angry, I think, social media post from somebody saying, well, you're wrong about that. And then like at the very end, he's like, well, you're kind of right, but you're... No, I mean... I'm not going to argue with the fact that there's an anomaly sometimes with returns with annuities that provide potential. I'm just saying across the board, if you looked at annuities for the contractual guarantees only, it's a better approach than selling dreams because you're going to own the contractual realities. Okay? So today's topic is a really good one. It's about carrier ratings and the state guarantee fund. So let's go backwards a little bit. State Guarantee Fund applies to fixed annuities. Each state has an insurance or financial division. Google it if you want to see it, or you can go to NAIC.com, National Association of Insurance Commissioners. Every state has a state-run organization that oversees the approval of products to be sold in that specific state. So not all states offer the same thing. Like New York does not offer the same annuities that Texas or Oregon doesn't offer the same annuities that Florida does because it's regulated at the state level. Now, each state has what's called a state guarantee fund. Now, before you get all happy on me, it's not FDIC. F stands for federal. F stands we're going to freaking tax you to get the money. F stands for the best. I mean, that didn't start with it. Zeke, that didn't have an F in it. But the point is, FDIC is the gold standard. Don't go down some rabbit hole, conspiratorial hole right there. But you cannot compare FDIC with state guarantee funds. Now, state guarantee funds backs up annuities and life insurance to specific amounts that are unique to each state. All right, so if you want to find that out, go to NOLHGA.com. That's the National Association of Life and Health Guarantee Associations, whatever that is. But the point is, you can put in your state and find out what the state guarantee fund is. But I'm going to tell you something about state guarantee funds that you might not know, and that if someone's tried to pitch you an annuity and proactively mention the state guarantee fund, well, you should buy this one because, when you put it in, it's backed up by the state guarantee fund. That's illegal to do. In the annuity business, you cannot proactively mention the state guarantee fund in conjunction with a recommendation. You cannot. Not many agents even know that. Of course, I know that. I'm America's annuity agent. Of course, I know that. But no one can bring up the state guarantee fund proactively and say, well, you should buy it. The state guarantee fund backs it up. Now, if you brought it up to me, Stan, explain the state guarantee funds to me, then I'm going to do that because you've asked. I've not brought it up. That is legal. But you cannot use it to sell annuities. That should tell you all you really need to know. Now, have I seen companies be absorbed by the state and the state guarantee fund? The answer is yes. In my 3 decades plus out here, I've seen it. I've seen 3. All right? I've seen 3 that I was familiar with. There's more than they weren't on my radar screen, even though I guess everything's on my radar screen. But like tiny little companies like Sinking Sands of Texas, that's not a company, but I made that up, is actually an ex-consultant of mine made that up. I mean, we don't follow that, but there's been 3 that's been absorbed. All 3 of those companies, 100% of the client's money was returned to the client. All 3. So I'm not saying the life insurance business is foolproof and the state guarantee fund is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's not. In my world of truth and brutal facts, annuities are confidence products. So in other words, you have to have confidence to give the money to the life insurance company that's issuing the annuities, okay, because you're transferring that risk to the life insurance company issuing that annuity contractual guarantee. If companies went out of business, then the confidence would be lost and the industry would be in trouble. All right? So state guarantee funds, I glance at them. I'm glad they're there. I think it's nice. I've seen them 3 times in my 30-plus year career come into play and make the clients whole. I've seen that, okay? I've seen it. So that's good. But it really comes down to the claims paying ability of the carrier, which leads me to the other part of this topic on Shooting It Straight with Stan, which is carrier ratings. Now, there are 4 primary rating services that I follow for the Annuity Man: Standard & Poor's, AM Best, Moody's, and Fitch. We do not follow Weiss for a lot of reasons. If you want to call me and I can put them down, great people. I know them from the speaking circuits back in the day. But we don't use them, okay? So when those 4 rating services give a rating, again, AM Best, Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch, we go, okay, that's good. But it's nothing more than opening the door for me and some people I have on retainer to look at the financials, because it all has to do with the financials. So carrier ratings, they are important, but we go deeper than that. From a risk mitigation standpoint and a recommendation standpoint, not only are we looking at the ratings, not only are we looking at the claims paying ability of the carrier, we're also looking at how they do business. Are they good to do business with administratively from our standpoint, the client standpoint? And there are some highly rated companies that we no longer use until they get their administrative side cleaned up, because it makes no sense to work with them. We're not going to be on hold for 4 hours with these companies. They have to staff up. But when we look at ratings, I always say A+ or better for lifetime income. A+ or better, you don't need a sweater, is what I say. But with that, we're also looking under the hood. Not going to mention the company, but there is an A+ or better that we're not recommending right now due to the private credit situation that's going on. And yes, I am aware of that. Remember, I used to work with Dean Witter, Payne Weber, Morgan Stanley, UBS, worked on Wall Street, World Trade Center 2 before it fell. Been there, done that side of the ledger. So there are some companies that we're watching, okay? We're watching companies that are a little bit exposed to this private credit. Only Wall Street could come up with private credit after the housing debacle to mess it up again. I hope that's not the case. Okay, so we're watching that. We're also watching companies that my good friend at the Retirement Income Journal, his name is Kerry Pector, very smart person, very honorable person, has been looking into what he calls the Bermuda Triangle, which is companies that do some offshore accounting through other countries like Bermuda, Bahamas, whatever. He's got a close eye on that. We have a close eye on that. So what we do at the company, at the Annuity Man, being the leader out here, is we list all carriers. We show you all contractual guarantees with all companies. Now, there are a couple that I've removed that just don't pass the sniff test from the standpoint of size. I always say, Stan, why isn't this company on there? I said, because I can buy them. If I could buy the company, I'm not going to recommend them, okay? They have to be of size. There's a lot of small companies out there that are popping up that they have to get a lot bigger before I will recommend them to my clients. I take this serious. Okay, we have a quadrillion clients and manage multiple billions, but I look at every case. I'm involved. I'm down in it. I like what I'm doing, but the ratings, that is a door for us to look at. Now, let's talk about the state guarantee fund and the ratings. I got a call the other day, and there was an immediate annuity recommendation. It was with an A++ carrier, and there's not many of those. There's a handful of those. A++. A lot of them are mutual companies. And the person said to me, should I be worried about A++? And my comment was, and this is true, listen. If an A++ carrier goes out of business, hug your loved ones. Love the one you're with, as Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young said that in the song. It's a wrap, player. If an A++ carrier goes out of business, we're screwed as a country. We're screwed. And if you don't believe that, believe it. Well, it could happen. Well, if it does, we're screwed. How about that? So A+ or better, you don't need a sweater for lifetime income. And the reason we say that for lifetime income is that with AI that's shortening the medical breakthroughs, which means the life expectancy tables are going to lengthen out, which means the payments are going to be lower. You better get with a good company because you might live to 129. So A+ or better. Now with MIGAs or fixed rate annuities, we're dating the rate. We're not marrying the rate. We're dating the rate. It could be a little bit less than A+ or A++. It could be A-. In some cases, it could be even B++ with a specific MIGA that I sign off on, okay? But The A++ carriers, the big boys, are really the state guarantee fund. Who do you think puts money in the state guarantee fund? Well, the guy said, well, I want to get 2 A++ carriers. Should I put both of those under the state guarantee fund? Only if you want to wear belt and suspenders to the family reunion. Yeah, I guess you can do that if you have a pacifier at night to sleep, but you don't have to do that. All right, the state guarantee fund is there because they're confidence products, and for certain situations like the 3 companies I talked about that have been absorbed by the state guarantee fund that gave 100% of the money back to every single person, every single client, you just don't, you can't get that granular. Okay, but the fact that you can't mention state guarantee fund in a sales presentation or a recommendation should tell you all you really need to know. And the big boys are going to make sure that some idiot running a small company is not going to ruin the confidence golden goose. Okay, so just understand that. So when it comes to carrier ratings and it comes to state guarantee funds, we will talk about it if you ask us about it on a video like this that I'm proactively telling you about it, but I'm not recommending it. I'm telling you how to use it. But but for the carrier ratings, that's an entry for us to go look even further at what they're doing. And if you see a quote on our site and you schedule a free consultation, there could be a time where I'm saying to my team, do not recommend that company. I need more information on that company. Or do not recommend that company because I found something I don't like. So you say, why'd you show it? Because we show everything. Annuities are commodity products. The reason you come to us is because if the experience is going to be a positive one, the client experience from the application standpoint, we take care of everything from start to finish. But primarily is you want to make sure that Stan, the annuity man himself, is actually looking at this stuff and not just selling anything or recommending anything. And I'm not. I'm looking at it. So with that being said, all of that, please go to my site at theannuityman.com, run quotes to your heart's content, download my free owner's manuals, watch more videos. The search bar on the site, if you type in anything, SPIAs, whatever, it's going to pop up all the videos and articles I've written. I've written over 400 articles as well. But you can email me and get to me, not AI Stan, real Stan, Stan at theannuityman.com. That Shooting It Straight with Stan. And I shot it pretty darn straight, right, Zeke? Zeke behind the camera, he's nodding. His beard's in the way, but he's nodding. See you next time.